Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Enneagram and Coaching. I'm Hillary, your certified Enneagram coach, and today we are talking about the type 2 and what it's like to work with them in the workplace, whether that be at home, over Zoom, over emails, in person, whatever that looks like right now. I think it's a great time to learn better communication and each other's personalities and work better together in the workplace. So that's what we're going to do today. Type 2s, it is your turn. This video is meant to help you if you are a 2, work for a 2, work with a 2. This video should give you some great insight on what that's like and just help you better at work. And the Enneagram in the workplace is so important right now because we have all different types of personalities, right? Last week I taught you about the type 1 in the workplace. This week it's type 2's turn. And I just really believe with everything in me that it is so important for us to learn each other's differences and strengths and weaknesses and how to talk to each other and just be together more cohesively and learn to love each other with more grace and understanding, because it is not okay when any type shows up expecting someone else to show up just like them. And so that's what this video is for, this whole series is for, is to help us understand and love each other better and work better together. And so my recommendation for this video is take note. Like I said, if you are a 2, work with a 2, or work for a 2, take notes. I'm gonna be sharing a few things in a bunch of different areas that will help you. So take notes, get your pen and paper out, and learn something about the people you work with or yourself. So, okay, let's dive into who are they? Who are the type 2s? Well, for starters, they are called the helper, and they are warm, generous, empathetic. They love making other people happy. That actually makes them happy when they can make other people happy. They have extremely big hearts, and when healthy, they work great with others. They are such a great teammate to have on the team. They are going to be the first ones to volunteer anytime anything comes up. A big thing for a 2 is they don't want to be rejected, so they don't ask a lot of other people, and so that's a really important thing to write down. Just because they're called the helper doesn't mean that they don't need help themselves. They're just afraid of being rejected, so a lot of times they'll just do the work themselves. So that is a key thing to write down. A type 2, they love to feel like they're contributing to the workplace, but they really need to be careful that they're not giving too much, giving everything of them, and there is just a balance that needs to be found. Okay, next is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of yourself. If you're a leader or a type 2, or you just work with a type 2, it's so important to understand those strengths and weaknesses. And so it's critical, right? It's critical to leading others, but it's also critical to leading yourself. And so I wanted to start with sharing understanding the strengths of a type 2. So a strength of a 2 is they have this amazing ability to know what others need around them. They have like these antennas, they say, you know, that they can really sense the needs of everyone around them, and they do a great job at making others feel valuable. So they sense the needs of others, and then they show up and do a good job making that person feel valued. And so they will really be there for you when you need it. Another good one is they are naturally empathetic and caring and nurturing, and they also can make things lighter and more fun, and really lift the mood if needed. Another great one is at their healthiest, they will see it as an honor to be invested in those around them. And let's be honest, you want that in a teammate, right? You want that in a leader. And so that's just a really good strength of theirs. They are also optimistic and supportive, and they are able to see the potential in other people and help motivate them. How important is that to have in a workplace? Okay, so let's move on to some areas of development for the type 2. Okay, so a really big area of development for the 2 is just because they can sense all the needs around them doesn't mean that they can sense their own needs. And so I would challenge, if you are a 2 or know a 2, help them to sense their own needs, because we don't want them to get burnt out. If they're always doing for others, always paying attention to everybody else and not doing any self-care for themselves, that can and will lead to burnout. And so that's why it's so important for them to take care of themselves too. Another area of development is they can have a hard time saying no, which leads to them overcommitting, maybe even under-delivering, right? Because they're saying yes to everything. They really need to learn to have their yes be a real yes, and that it's okay to say no. They don't always have to say yes. That's a big area of development for a type 2. Learn to say no when you can, right? There are going to be instances in the workplace that, you know, you have to do it, but when there is opportunities to say no and you're in your heart, you know that it is a true no, I would challenge you to say no. That's okay. Other people might actually step up and do it, and you have to find that place where it's okay to be able to say no. Another one for the 2 to work work on is work on giving honest feedback. It can be hard for the 2 to give honest feedback all the time because they don't want to hurt other people's feelings, and there is wisdom in that, but sometimes you have to give some honest feedback, and you don't want to give an opinion that's not really true or some feedback that's not really true, because then you might start to stew on it and get upset and angry. And so when possible, give your real opinion. It actually will help other people. That honest feedback can help others to do better and be better and grow themselves. Okay, so I want to move on to a type 2 might feel like it's hard working with others because, and so there's a lot of little examples that I found, and I want to share these because type 2s do feel like it is hard working with other people on the team sometimes. So some of those examples would be, they can feel hurt when other people don't recognize their efforts or give them credit for their part of what's been done, because honestly, they need praise and appreciation too. As much as they're giving it out, they need that too. And so they want to be recognized for the work that they do. Another one a 2 might say is people don't try and figure out what they need, right? Because they're always trying to tend to other people and focus on what others need. They want you also to ask them sometimes if they need anything, because they're really good at keeping the conversation on you. And sometimes we need to turn that conversation on them and ask them good questions and see how are they doing. And the reason why they don't ask is because of fear of rejection, for fear of others not actually taking care of them the way they take care of others. So I would just challenge, try and figure out what they need too, right? And especially if they're totally focused in on you, have that be like a flag of like, oh, you know what? I want to actually give that back to them too, because it's a great gift and you like it when they do that for you. And so give that back as much as you receive it. Another thing a 2 might say is it's hard if they get left out of social gatherings or meetings or things that they should be invited to just because like someone forgot to tell them about it. It actually can hurt their feelings. And so make sure that you're inviting them and making sure they feel included. And the last one is they hate it when they see other people being mistreated in the workplace, right? And I mean, I know a lot of types would say, oh, me too. But for the 2, this is like really hard for them to be on a team if anybody's being mistreated, which I love. And honestly, I'd put that in their strengths category, right? They don't want others to be mistreated. So those are some of the things a 2 might say it's hard working with others. Okay, so let's move on to what's great about working with a 2. They're amazing to have on your team. So let's learn what are some great things about working with a type 2? A big one is they are great listeners. They are naturally interested in you and want to hear your problems and will want to make you feel better. So they are just amazing listeners. I think I've already mentioned this a little bit already, but they are friendly, positive, and super fun to be around. So they're great team members. They can bring a ton of energy and dedication to supporting their coworkers, their teams, the job. They want to do a good job. They are willing to work hard and get the job done. Another great thing about working with a 2 is they are unselfish, they are considerate, they are thoughtful, and they love to be supportive on the team. Okay, so let's move on to ways to communicate with a type 2. Again, take notes. Some of these are really good and will help you if you have a 2 on your team. A great way to communicate with them, make sure to tell them that you appreciate them, that they're doing a good job, compliment them, whether it's by email, text, over a Zoom call, in person, whatever that looks like in today's workplace. Make sure you're complimenting them. Make sure you're telling them that they're doing a good job. They appreciate that. And also when you're communicating with them, give really kind and encouraging feedback. This is super important to them and will make your communication so much better. If you need to discuss anything hard or difficult, make sure to do it in private because we don't want them to feel shame or rejection, right? And so that is a key, that is a great way to communicate with them. Do it in private if you have to tell them anything hard because that's gonna come up. We do have to tell each other hard things and discuss hard things. But I would just encourage you to do it in private. Probably with all the types, but especially a type 2. And another great way to communicate with them is make sure they are being heard. They want to be heard too. As much as they love to listen, they also want to be heard. Even if it doesn't look that way and you're like, no, they don't really speak up. They do want to be heard, so make sure you listen well to them. Okay, so let's move on to, you might be working with a type 2 if they have a hard time being direct and they start to sugarcoat things so that they don't cause conflict. Also, they are the ones that don't ask for help. So notice this and offer help. Seriously, just because they are called the helper doesn't mean they always want to do all the work, right? And so offer help when needed. Another great one you might be working with a 2 is if they take the lead on throwing an office party or going to a happy hour and they're the ones putting it on. A lot of times you will find the 2 step up and want that role. So you might be working with a 2 if they take the lead on planning things that are fun. Another you might be working with a 2 is they are going to be the ones asking you how you are doing, and they will make a point to connect with you on a personal level and not just as a coworker. Okay, so let's move on. How to get along with a 2. Give them space to do their best. So in other words, don't rush them. 2s want to do their best and not let anyone down, so they're going to need time to prepare and figure things out and do their best work, so give them space to do that. Another good one, offer lots of support. They want to know that you're on their side and that you have their back. Again, let 2s know they are doing a good job. I know I've already said this, but it is important. Let them know that they are doing a good job, and what they are doing is working. They need encouragement and positive feedback just as much as they give it. Don't ask too much of them. Encourage them to say no, right? We've already kind of talked about how it's hard for them to say no. Encourage them to say no. Let them know that it's okay that they say no. It lets them know that you like and care for them. If you really genuinely are like, hey, I'm asking you to do this, but it's so okay to say no. I can ask somebody else, because sometimes they just might have so much on their plate. Even though they want to say yes, they need to say no. And so please make room for there to be a no. Okay, so let's move on to what are some growth suggestions for a type 2? What are ways they can grow? So 2s, I'm talking to you. The first one is establish healthy boundaries so that you can tend to your own needs. So important. Another good one, let others help you. Notice when you're trying to do it all. Also, watch out for overemphasizing with other people, because you also need to take your own needs and feelings into account. So don't overemphasize all the time at the point of not taking your own needs into account. Another big one is think and observe what happens when you want to say no. We've talked a lot about being able to say no, right? And so I want you now to take that even further so that you can grow, and think and observe what happens when you want to say no, but you end up saying yes. So think about this. Figure out the why behind that. Why are you saying yes? Are you comfortable saying no? What are your own thoughts and feelings behind this? So I just am challenging you to dig a little deeper there. Okay guys, so that was a lot of info, right? I hope you took notes. I hope it made you understand type 2s better, love them better, have more grace for them, and type 2s, I hope it helped you learn about yourself a little more in the workplace too. And you can take this outside of the workplace, right? All these things are meant for the workplace, but can be used anywhere. So what did we learn today? Who the type 2s are, their strengths, the areas of development that are needed, how a type 2 feels about working with others in the workplace, what's great about working with a 2, ways to communicate better, you might be a type 2 if, how to get along with 2s in the workplace, and some growth practices. So we learned a lot, guys, and I hope you took notes because it was super important. Like I said, all throughout, I just felt like it was important to be jotting things down if you wanted to. You know, we learned a lot about them. If you are a type 2, you work with a type 2, you work for a type 2, I hope these helped you. Take them into the workplace. Leave me any comments in the comment section below if you are a type 2 or what you thought of this. I love hearing from you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because this is the second video in the 9-video series, you know, on working with the types in the workplace. And so it's super important to learn that. So subscribe, and I have so much more coming up. The next series I'm doing is subtypes. And so subscribe if you want to learn about subtypes of all the types. I also need to do a heart triad and a head triad video and so much more. So push that subscribe button. I have a lot of content going to be coming your way. I love giving it to you guys. And also like the video. That lets me and YouTube know that you like the video, and that helps my channel out. So I really appreciate it. But that's all I have for now. So until next time, guys, bye.